Thank you very much. For the next 10 minutes, I will talk a little bit about mobile key insights and mobile trends. First of all, it's just a part of our way of addressing mobile as a media agency. We've discovered that we need to address these 4 areas in order to talk about mobile and also build mobile strategies. So mobile insight, obviously, it's really important. Mobile activation is the second part, and we have to skip that. I only got 10 minutes today, but it's actually paid, owned, and earned media. And then mobile engagement. I will probably touch that a little bit in my trends part, because it's actually services that you can put on top of your media buying and on top of your current assets. So if you have mobile apps, mobile optimized sites, I mean, it doesn't mean that you have the services that can bring more traffic to your retail store, but I will give you some examples. And then what is actually trending. So let's get started with some insight stuff. What really annoys me is actually this slide deck, because what you have to add to this is actually the history. Looking from 2009 to 2012, the gap from the time spent and time invested in mobile has actually, it's bigger. So we haven't been able to catch up with the time spent on mobile and the investment, because we are investing a lot in mobile, but I mean, this picture is pretty clear. And who can we actually blame? I think we can blame the media agencies, the creative agencies, the digital agencies, and maybe the brands and the marketing departments out there. Because I think the challenge is that mobile, for a lot of people, is out of their comfort zone. So we just do exactly that, what we did last year, but not looking at the insights that is actually asking, or sorry, is answering on the why mobile and how much money do I need to spend. So this is just an example from a market with an extremely high mobile smartphone penetration. We're talking about in 60%. This is just one media with 2.2, it's a small country, 2.2 million unique visitors on the mobile optimized site, and 1.3 looking at news at the same publisher on online and tablet. And I can say that a lot of marketeers, they are not aware of that situation, and this has exploded. I know figures from instance from Norway, they had the tipping point the 28th of July last year, when they had a higher number of eyeballs on mobile than online. But of course, you can't see the impressions is not the same, but the number of unique audience that you can target is huge. Search is also exploding, both on tablets and smartphones. Facebook, I mean, what a fantastic story. They launched the service in the US last year, the mobile ads, and in December last year, the investment was 20.3% of the global investment was mobile. But look at the numbers now. I predicted in January we will reach like 50%. But we are at a 50% level. And adding to that, 1st of September this year, Facebook changed the ad format, so it's actually a much more convenient, easy to place ads on Facebook mobile, because you use the same digital assets as you do online and for tablets. This is just actually you can look at the mobile feed, the green part of this slide, what happened since September last year. Things are moving pretty fast. What I discovered talking with a global brand like IKEA, I think most of you are familiar with the brand, we were looking at a mobile global strategy. And obviously, a lot of brands, they have a strong focus on social mobile media. But, in fact, people are spending a lot of time in those small games. So we looked at this and said, wow, how can we use that insight And I had the opportunity to share a great campaign from China with McDonald's, where they actually used Angry Bird, the Angry Bird game, to drive visitation, drive traffic to McDonald's. And that is in the game category. If you want to see more, it's a company called Ziggy, ZIGI.com. And they've actually nailed it and used this kind of insight. So, moving on to the trending stuff. This is actually things that we are bringing to our clients these days. First of all, gaming mechanics. Some of our clients, they don't have really nice mobile optimized site. So when we have a campaign and we are a little bit uncertain about the content, we can actually use some of the mechanics. And in fact, you can actually literally scratch on the surface and you can put products in. I think, I'm not sure if the next slide, no, back. We recently did that for Sony. Sony set one launch of one of the greatest smartphones you can buy these days, where you actually scratch, you engage, and the map you see here, you can actually fence the local retail store, so you can only win the grand prize if you are nearby. So it's a great simple mechanic that bring instant value. We also use tools for kind of surveys and other engagement where you can actually profile yourself. And again, Sony, we were going to bring the best of Sony. So we asked the consumers, the next smartphone, what's the most important feature? Is that the screen, the social media, whatever that is? And before we actually presented the solution, they could profile themselves in the ad. That sort of mechanics are extremely valuable. A lot of our clients, they're still struggling with the challenge of having a mobile optimized site. And hey, there are a lot of nice platforms that can instantly not only bring your content from the web into a mobile context, which is touch optimized, but in addition to that, you can add some topping, which is, as you see here in the screenshot, some plugins you can put on top. Because the thing is that if you just convert your content, and that is, I think, to some extent the challenge with just responsive web, you also need to look at the content also has to reflect the capabilities of the handsets and the browsers. But we can add services on top. So if you have that challenge, I can assure there are several companies that can support with really nice features. And same applies for apps. At the Mobile World Congress this year, I met a lot of companies that made this quite simple. And as you can see, this is sort of Lego building blocks. This is how you can build a native app for iOS, Android. And I won't say in minutes and hours, but it's fairly simple. It's not complicated. It doesn't cost you $1 trillion. And you will have all the nice insight. You can see, where it's traffic generated, time in app, how social are. All these mechanics, they're part of the platform. Talking about apps, I think one of the biggest challenges these days is companies that already have launched their app like, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but there is no traction. People simply forget their app and they start to delete their app. So how can we improve the return on investment? I think that we need to look at how we engage and how we communicate with the audience. And in fact, 66% of all apps out there have said yes to push messages and push notification, but only 23% of all brands use that mechanic. And I think the challenge is that probably you know your consumer, who they are, where they are, but the challenge is you don't have the ability to connect in a smart way, to segment, build, deliver campaigns. And this is an actual tool. It's an app campaign dashboard where you can communicate in a smart way with your audience based on their location, their interest, and it's not only about sending push messages. It can be all sorts of different content that you can bring to the apps. So I think the last part of my presentation is just addressing, okay, what if I don't have an app? What to do next? wallet solution from Apple, Passbook, and Google Wallet could actually bring value. Because the thing is that they are wallet studios where you can bring loyalty cards, coupons, gift cards, member cards, event tickets, and use that for driving more traffic online or in physical stores. And this is actually how you build it. It's not rocket science. You can actually build these mechanics and start to bring that. How do you do that? That could be with an API if you have an app, or via email, SMS, mobile web, and social media. I think social media and wallet solution is brilliant. But I think that was my 10 minutes, right? Thank you for listening.